A lot of people, they have a certain amount of unnecessary anger inside of them, a certain amount of unnecessary judgment, and MDMA will knock that shit right out of you. It's such a loving feeling, and that's one of the reasons why they're using it for post-traumatic stress disorder for vets coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's a positive thing, man. That's a good thing. Are people abusing it and dancing? Of course they are. But that goes back to what I said in that movie, The Union. People can abuse cheeseburgers. Should we make cheeseburgers illegal? I could take a fork and stick in my eye. Should we make forks illegal?
But do you know how many people a year die from drinking? What the statistic is?
It's 100,000.
Yeah, between 70 and 100,000.
And that doesn't even include drunk driving deaths, by the way. That's people who drunk themselves to death.
Right.
Yeah, people die from alcohol poisoning. People die from overdosing on alcohol. People die from sclerosis of the liver directly related to alcoholism.
Sure.
But MDMA is a small amount. It's like illegal drugs in this country is only like 12,000 people die a year.
Yeah.
The real problem is prescription drugs right now, which are overcoming drunk driving accidents in as far as fatalities.
Oh, my God. Those are the worst. People die from those left and right, man. But
I have a friend who died. I have a friend who died in New York, a pool player, and he was a great guy, and he was a straight edge.
People.
He was straight edge. He made fun of people who smoked cigarettes, and then all of a sudden he hurt his back. And when he hurt his back, he got on some oxycodones or one of those. And just, boop, that was it. See ya. Bye-bye. Changed his life. Fell asleep in his mashed potatoes. Everyone's hanging out together. The fucking guy just falls asleep sitting there eating dinner. Plop.
So sad.
Like a movie. Puts his arm down and falls asleep on a plate of mashed potatoes.
It's so sad, dude. It's the saddest thing ever, man. It really is.
It is sad.
It's really sad when you consider that these drugs, these synthetic drugs that that are killing so many people are semi-legal, and alcohol is killing everybody, and it's totally legal.
Right.
Whereas these,
MDMA.
like an empathogen like MDMA, that when you take it, you can, if you have some discipline, you can go dancing. It's fun to go dancing on it, but if you have some discipline, you can shift your life into the positive forever.
Yes.
If you have some discipline, and if you're working with someone, or if you know what you're doing.
Well, if you're honest with about your experience, if you're a person who's truly looking to improve who you are as a person, I think the MDMA can be very impactful. I didn't like the way it made me feel. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing it. I would say, man, you have to weigh your own pros and cons. Even though it impacted me in a very positive way, I remember feeling absolutely terrible the next day. I don't think it's good for your body. I don't want to do it again. But I learned a lot from doing it. And the fact that OxyContins, which are literally synthetic heroin, that is what it is. There's no doubt it is a synthetic opiate. It is incredibly, incredibly addictive. People who've done heroin say it's easier to kick heroin than it is to kick pills.
Jesus.
The OxyContin pills, somehow or another, the way they're constructed, the way it impacts with the human body, makes them even more addictive. It's just insanity.
Well, they're
man.
fucking fish hooks, dude.
Yeah.
They're fish hooks coming out of the pharmaceutical companies that get stuck in people's brains. You get a fucking fish hook in your brain attached to a giant corporation that's got you fucking wired in, whether you're getting it legally or not. It's like telephone wires all connecting back to the telephone company. From the brains, all these pill poppers. It's just fucking lines going back to
no benefit whatsoever except a little bit of pain relief. The benefit the social benefit of MDMA would be gigantic, man. If MDMA became legal,
can you imagine?
And it was prescribed. So awesome. But the problem is also, you got people who would OD on it, people who drink when they take it. There's a lot of different possibilities. People could fuck it up.
They could fuck it up, but guess what? They get to, because it's their life and their body.
Yes, and they can do that with alcohol.
Yeah.
And they can do that. The fact that there's all these laws against things like MDMA and mushrooms and things. Mushrooms are where it really gets crazy because you can't OD. Who the fuck has ever overdosed on mushrooms? You have to eat like pounds of it. The LD50 rate for mushrooms is really high. Like you got to be really trying to kill yourself.
Like a garbage bag. I think it's like a garbage bag.
Which, by the way, you could eat way less salt and you'd be dead. You could eat you don't even have to eat a pound of salt and you're fucking gone, man. Right. You ain't coming back. If you ate a pound of salt and you just sat there with a tablespoon and just started eating salt and you ate a whole pound bag, that's it. That's a wrap, kid.
See ya.
You're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah, you could die from drinking water. Remember we were in Sacramento and that lady died in a contest?
I remember when that happened, man. It's so sad.
That happened to a frat kid, too. They were hazing a frat kid. They made him drink water until he couldn't drink anymore, and he fucking died, too.
You just die.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up, man. It's a terrible way to go.
We have weird laws that
dude,
protect people. Cigarettes being legal is the most preposterous.
And also remember, like, the impulse for many people who are taking psychedelics is not to try to wipe out the universe, but it's to try to go deeper into the universe. And so that means that a lot of people in the jails right now and a lot of people in the dungeons, they had the same instincts as like a lot of the great philosophers. They just wanted to expand their mind and understand a little bit about the universe, and they're in prison now. They're imprisoned. And so from the prohibition, you're not just getting an inability to go enjoy a great fucking night at some underground party or the inability to like have a great camping trip with your pals. It's literally, I think, stifling evolution, because God knows what amazing thoughts people could be coming up with if there was regulated psychedelics and we got to explore them to understand how to really use them and how to really fucking harness them to make us smarter. You know, this is something that's the birthright of humanity. All indigenous tribes have some form of psychedelic that they take. This is like the ancient people of the earth knew about this. Peyote, ayahuasca. Yet somehow in the modern age, they're keeping us from this experience that maybe is the thing that connected the Native Americans to the earth that you were talking about in the beginning. Maybe it is the thing that made people not so fucking fixated on material possessions, you know. But it's why we have a prohibition happening now. It's the Dark Ages. It's like, imagine if there was a book, just some book, and inside of it was amazing information that will teach you how to overcome your ego, that will connect you with your brothers and sisters around you. There's this amazing book, and it's surrounded by a fence that the government's erected, and they're like, sorry, can't read that fucking book. Can't read it. It's illegal. You read that book, you're going to the dungeon. If we catch you distributing this book, copies of this book, we put you in the dungeon. It doesn't make any sense, man. Why aren't they letting us read that fucking book? I don't know anyone who died on mushrooms. I don't know anyone where anything bad happened to them on mushrooms. Nobody. I've never heard it. I'm sure it's out.